Hi there YouTube, Extreme Trains here. So I know in my recently posted Harold color changes video, I was happy to have a stand in Harold, and I wasn't lying, but the difficulty is that the temperature in Australia is quite variable. So today, even though I wanted Harold to be in his white form, he has reverted back to this form because the temperature keeps changing on me. And while it's certainly a cool look for Harold, no pun intended, I do want to have a normal looking Harold to be able to have in my collection because the Australian temperatures are too variable for me to be able to keep that one in its white form. So luckily, this new wave of Thomas and Friends push-alongs from AEG has come out. We've got the standard vanilla version of Harold right here. What are we waiting for? Let's do it. This is Harold. We've very recently looked at a Harold, so this shouldn't be too different. It should be a relatively short review. Again, the picture in the corner, we've got the propeller folded up for storage, what looks like a different face, which is exciting. I really like that face, actually. Again, different from the box, but that's fine. Otherwise, just the usual blah blah on the back. So let's crack him open. As I explained, and as we do this little 360, as I explained in the whiff review, there were quite a few Harolds, there were quite a few Tobis, but there was only one whiff. So Harold was not selling as well as some of the other engines were, which isn't a surprise because he's obviously not as much of an exciting character. Doesn't have wheels for a start. But otherwise, if you come and have a look at that face, I think that's a great face. Obviously, it's very different to the Harold that we know from the classic, I'm going to call it the classic series, but I think it's a great face. It's very animated. It's very cute. It really fits into the All Engines Go aesthetic. Come around to the sides. We've got all your classic Harold details. Once again, we've got the very good spinning back propeller because it's pinned, but this top one is pretty sticky. Like it doesn't really spin, which is a bit of a miss if you ask me. Yeah, I don't love the way that works. Very similar to the stickiness on the color changing version. Otherwise, again, we've got the name printed on the bottom. Some basic detailing, very similar on each side. For a quick comparison, let's do a compare. So again, you can see we do get a different facial expression. And look, see my he's starting to change color all by himself. You can see here, what I didn't realize is that these extra little bits of white paint are extra detailing, which is not on the standard version, which is interesting. Not sure if there's a reason why they didn't put that on there. We also don't have the riveting detail on this version, which is interesting again. So it's that weird scenario where the color changer ones seem to have a lot more detail than the standard ones in some ways, but obviously because they're color changing, the utility of that detail is limited. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird situation, especially because none of them have any printing up here for the little, what will be the driver's cabin if they were real people in the Thomas and Engines, All Engines Go universe. So that is what that looks like. Again, if you haven't seen the comparison, here's what it looks like next to Thomas. So, you know, he's obviously smaller in some ways, bigger in other ways, I think, relatively, for the price point, which I paid $6 for this because it was on sale, but, you know, it can be up to $8 here in Australia. You are still getting a decent amount of toy. It's quite, you know, it's good that all this top part is metal. Overall, I think it's relatively good value. Certainly, again, probably not one of my favorite all-time All Engines Go push-along engines, simply because he's a helicopter, not an engine, but certainly a very good-looking model, and I really do like the white on this one, similar to in my color changer review. Is just very sharp, it's very clean. He really does stand out, I think, which is really what you want, because he's a very unique character. It's a very clean look. If you like Harold, this one is recommended, and I would recommend probably getting this one over the color changing one because of the difficulty of keeping the color changing one in the color that you want it to be. There you go. See, I'm rubbing his face now, and oh, it's starting to change colors. So you can see why it would be preferable to have this one if you like that white classic look. All right, that's enough. That's all we've got time for in this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. That's all we've got time for. This is Extreme Trains.